Okay, so many people now do wonder why is it that there is a huge difference when it comes to time. There is a huge gap of time when you look at China and also Zambia, because many people do wonder where that difference comes from. Now, in this video under Earth geometry, specifically on time calculation, I'm going to actually help you to understand what makes that difference between the two countries. So if you're new to this channel, please make sure that you do subscribe to my channel so that you can get all the updates that you need and all our education content so that you never miss any single notification. So this is Radco Academy and this is Professor Wadia, and welcome to this video. So now, we have to ask yourselves, when you're talking about time calculation between 2 points on the surface of the Earth, okay, what are some of the key fundamentals and the key concepts that you should be able to understand, and not just to memorize that no, time calculation is A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. No. Because the moment you get to just memorize, then things can actually go, downwards, okay? But I'm going to give you some of the key principles, fundamentals to understanding Earth geometry when it comes to time calculation. So, if you're new to this channel, please, again, I emphasize, please support us by subscribing to this channel and also sharing our videos to your families, to your friends, and even to anyone you may think that this video is going to actually be helpful to them. So, Earth geometry is a topic in grade 12. So, if you're in grade 12, you should be able to know how to go about Earth geometry, and specifically this video about time calculation. So, now let's dive into that. Now, when you look at that time, okay, when you look at the question, or just, this isn't an exam question, but it is something that is going to actually help you solve an exam question, okay? So, just pay attention and follow me along. So, now we are saying find the time at town B, okay, given that the local time at town A is 08 hours. So, when you call someone from China, for example, when you call them and you ask them what is the time there, at the time you are calling them and you are also asking what is the time, okay? So they are going to tell you to say the time here in China is maybe 15 hours or maybe it's 12 hours or anything, but there is a huge difference. Now, the time difference actually is caused by the location of these two different countries, let's say Zambia and China, for instance. So, where they are located on an imaginary surface of the Earth, for example, we are going to look just in a minute and see how these points can help us to understand that, okay? So now we have to be able to understand that the only reason as to why there is a time difference amongst different countries in this world is because of where our countries where we are in are located at. Okay, so if, for example, Zambia is on the 30 degree east, okay, and another country is on maybe 100 degrees east, okay. So we are not on the same hemisphere, let's say the eastern hemisphere, but we're in different positions despite being in the same eastern hemisphere. And to make matters worse, when countries are very far apart from each other, like the other one is on the eastern hemisphere, the other one is on the western hemisphere, that becomes a very, very, different, too much different, okay? So now, we have this one, okay? We have the Earth. This is an imaginary Earth that we have to understand, okay? So, the first point to understand is, first of all, how to go about collecting the points that we are referring to on this imaginary surface of the Earth. Okay, so now we have points A, B, C, and D. So let's say these are countries that have been represented using capital letters, and we don't know what is that country, but let's just assume that these are countries, okay? So now the question is, how can you find the time at point B, which is this one. Okay. Now, one of the most fundamental things that you're supposed to understand is whenever it comes to time calculation, we only consider the longitude of that point, or the longitude of that country or any place in this world. Okay, so when you're calculating time, please make sure that we are only looking at the longitude of that point and not the latitude of that point. No. So that is key number one. Find the longitude of that point. So you can see that the longitude of point B is 50 degrees east. And also the longitude of point A is also 60 degrees east. So those are the key points that I'm going to consider. Okay, I'm not going to actually consider the 30. Of course, when I'm dealing with a distance, okay, I have to collect both points. Okay, so even on this point, see, when you just try to see the longitude that is pointing toward this line, what is C, and then also same applies to this one. Okay. So let us make sure we do understand that, okay? Okay, so now let us move on. So the first thing is if I identify in the question that I have point B that I'm interested in, and also point A, those are the only thing that I'm interested in because the question talks about them. Okay. So what's going to happen is point A. Okay. So point A is this one. So the longitude is this one. So it's 60. Okay. And point B, when you look at point B, okay, when you look at point B, we have this one, 50 degrees west. Now, there is a time measurement. We want to actually find out what is the local time, what is the time at point B, okay? And you have been told that at town A, the time is 08 hours. So now we need to find out the time at point B, okay? So the other step is that find So first of all, you have to find the difference in their longitude, meaning this one is on the eastern part, this one is on the western part. So if they are on the different side of the Earth surface, you've got to add in order to find the total angle between them, okay? So it's kind of more like this point, like we are doing this, okay? So now, the angle, this one, this kind of an angle there, theta. So it's more like we're finding this angle theta. So I have to add this 50 degrees and also 60 degrees in order to know their total angle. So now from there, I'm just going to say, I'm just going to actually call this one as alpha, or you can call it whatever you want, alpha, and even let's say I'm gonna actually, or even some people call it theta because the Greek name of any angle is theta, okay, but that doesn't mean that you just have to stick to theta. No, you can use any representation you want. So this is going to be, so if this one is on 50, this one is west, this one is east. So we add them. So we are adding them, so 60 plus 50, we are just going to actually get, it is 100. Okay, so now once you get the 110, then now we know what is the other step that you need to understand. The other step is that I need to know, as the earth is now revolving around the sun, okay, so every hour the earth moves around the sun, then that hour is going to actually subtend an angle of 15 degrees. So now I have to know how many hours does the earth actually makes in this angle, or actually subtend, okay? So I'm going to say that, okay, one hour, okay, now every hour the earth revolves around the sun, then that hour is actually, that hour is going to actually make an angle of 15 degrees. Now, what about the 110? As the earth is spinning, okay, changing from the eastern part to the western part. So, how many hours are in those angles the earth makes? So, in this 110, so we kind of do a proportional, okay. So we're going to say X hours in 110. So once you do that, then you just kind of cross multiply. So this one is going to be 15x is equal to 1 times 110. Okay. Then once you do that, we are going actually to divide. Okay, so now we are going to divide now. We are looking for x, so you can see that is a simple mathematical expression. It's an equation. So we are looking for the value of x, and for us to find the value of x, you kind of divide 15 on both sides of the equation. So this is going to be this guy. So this is going to give you like now. When you get that 17.3, of course, when you check out on your calculator, you discover that it is 7.33333. Okay, so like the numbers are repeating, non-terminating. Okay, so now the point is that we don't want to actually include all those numbers. Okay, all we want is the first whole number before the decimal. So the first number before the decimal, that is 7 hours. Now, any number after the decimal, those are going to be the minutes. Okay, those are the minutes. Now, in time, you cannot read off time from your watch and say that it is, let's say, 7.5 hours, or it is, let's say, 7.23 hours. No. So there is a way in which you can actually convert the time in a decimal point form. Okay, we can actually convert that by using a 60. Okay, so this one, you have to convert it to minutes. So this one, after the decimal, okay, after the decimal, there is just one number. So a number that has got 1 0, okay, obviously not 20, not 1, but numbers like 10. So we are going to say it is 3 out of 10. So this 10 implies that there is only one number. Okay, we have decided to just take one number for the decimal. So there is only one number after the decimal. Okay, and that is represented by 10. So multiplied by 60. So the 60 is coming about because we know that 1 minute equals to 60 seconds. Okay, so that is why, that is the reason why the 60 is coming about. So make sure you understand that, okay? So from there now, once we do that, this goes, and now this evaluates to 18 minutes. So if we were to be more specific, as the earth now revolves around the sun and subtend an angle of 110, okay, so in those 110 degrees, or the angle it makes it, okay, it is equivalent to 7 hours of time, 18 minutes. Now I can kind of put that into a digital watch reading, okay. So this is going to be 07 18 hours. Okay. So now, what is the other point? The other point that you need to consider is now, look at where I'm looking for the time. Okay. So I'm calculating the time at point B. Okay. Given that the time at point A was 08 hours. So it's like I'm trying to find out, if I know the time that here in Zambia it is, let's say it's almost like 0730 hours. So what could be the time in China? Okay, so that I can kind of know, okay, the time difference, or if I was going to travel around this time to China, then I know that, okay, I will arrive in this kind of time. So therefore, all you have to do is that any country or any point on the western part, whenever we are trying to find time from that point, okay, we need to subtract that time, okay, from the given time, or the time that we know. Because where somebody is, if they are very ahead of me, I'm going to subtract, I'm going to add, or in short, every time you're finding time on points that are on the western part, we subtract, you do a subtraction. Every time you're finding time on points or countries that lies on the eastern part of the earth, you have to add with the time that you know, or the time you're referring to, normally called the GMT time. Okay, so now let's finally finish the question. So therefore, we're going to say 08 hours minus 07, okay, minus 0718. Okay, now once you have this kind of a thing, when you start subtracting now, you start from this point going this point, okay. But of course, we know that 0 minus 8, that is kind of a negative time, so it's not even possible. So what you do is you get the 1 there, you get the 1, and then you put it this one. So now what you are doing is you are converting now that 1, okay, is equivalent to 1 hour. So when you convert 1 hour is equal to what? How many minutes? 60 minutes. Okay. So you put 60 there. Okay. Okay, so let's do it nicely. Okay. 08 hours minus 0718. So when you're subtracting, you have to be very careful, you have to pay attention, okay? So now, 0 minus 18, that is a negative, and time, we cannot actually give time. Time isn't negative, okay? So time can only be positive. So the idea is we are going to get 1 there, okay? Now remember, these whole numbers, they are hours. So when I get 1 transferred to the minute side, then I'm converting that 1 hour is equal to 60. Okay, so make sure you understand that is equal to 60. Okay, and this is going to be this. Now, the moment I do that, then I know that, okay, now I can say 1 there, it is 5, then 1 there, it is 10. So now 10 minus 8. Okay, so it is going to be 2. And now 5 minus 1, 5 minus 1, that's will give you 4. Now there remains 7. So 7 minus 7, okay, we're going to have 0. 0 minus 0, no. Okay, so now you can see that the time is 0:42 hours. Okay, 0:42 hours. It's like we are in the following day, we are in the next day. So when you are talking about, for you, it is 7 hours here in Zambia, for example, and the other side of the country or the point on the surface, it is the following day. So when I start to go, let's say for example, when I start to, let's say I start home from Zambia, and then at 7 something, and then I'm going to this country, okay? So meaning when I start home from Zambia, then this is 7 something. So if the gap, the distance, okay, the time it takes for me to reach there is 5 hours, okay? So I'm gonna reach that side 0.5 hours. Then I'm like, what's going on? Okay, what's going on? So it is also the idea that maybe these guys, they are behind and then we are ahead, for example. But the fact that they are on the western part of this earth or on this location is that they are behind with that, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. This is Professor Waya, and this is Radical Karim. Make sure, please, you subscribe to my channel for more education content, for more powerful videos, for more information that you never understood while in class. So we bring to you all those mysteries that the teacher failed to teach you, not because they didn't want to teach you, but because it's kind of difficult for them to explain some of these concepts. So at Radical Academy, we help out, we make you understand what you never understood. So this is a Radical Academy, and this is earth geometry, specifically on time calculation. So it's bye-bye, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.